Welcome everybody to the Beatdown. My name is Brew. This is the Badger. Bro, really? Really?
What's up?
You showing off the turkey neck and drinking on the
Hey man,
job?
hey man, whatever it takes. Today is a good day,
I dare you to do that the next time they lock you up.
bro. Bro, you gotta relax. You gotta relax. First of all, I have never been locked up. You know what? That's we gonna hold that.
You've never been locked up as the Badger. I understand. We're going with that. Hey, what's on TV behind you?
You know me, bro. We always do the Marvel thing over on this side. Guardians of the Galaxy too, man. So Peter Quill back there, my boy. You know they're
Okay.
making Peter Quill like bi-curious or something like that. You know what? Don't worry about it.
All right, let's get into the show. We'll be right back
Yep.
on the other side of this. Boy, you gonna get us kicked off the air at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, batten down the hatches. We'd like to introduce you to the greatest combat sports show bar none. You are now in the Beatdown.
You wanna get beat down?
Let us now introduce you to your host, the Badger, and
Hey, I don't know. I'm telling you, what that beat in that. I gotta calm down. I gotta calm down because we had to put on our professional voices and faces today because we
Yeah.
have with us a very, very special guest. So I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna let you try to introduce her. Please don't use words that you don't know what they mean or don't understand. Just be
So
yourself.
you already know
Be
that's how I got
country.
started off. No, not today because that's how I got started off. So I'm gonna start off with she's a Dominicana and a Colombiana, but most importantly, you done seen her BS, done some work for BSO. Quick out the blocks, which we're gonna talk about. She's done work for the Shadow League and the Zone, but most importantly, she is an angry Mets fan.
Yes,
Hey, Fighter Nation, let's
I am.
introduce Miss Erika Fernandez.
Thanks, guys, for that introduction. Woo! And I
Wow.
was also vibing with the beat. That's a great beat you guys have. I
Thank
love
you.
it.
Thank you. Your boy right here created it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
I was gonna put some
I
bars
love
on
it.
it, but I'll leave that for you, Miss Fernandez.
Don't blow his head up.
Right
Don't
in the
blow his head
ciphers.
up. Don't blow his head up because he ain't gonna think he the RZA. He gonna think he can write all kind of stuff, make all kind of scores. We don't need that going on. Stay in your lane, bro. Stay in your lane.
I have no
And
lane.
I want to send you a SoundCloud.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Listen, the highway is mine. I do not have a lane. Look, we are so happy to have you here. You're the only one with a name tag up there.
Aw,
That's
thanks,
how happy
guys.
we are to have you here.
Aw. Well, I like to follow instructions. It says put your name in. I'm like, oh, okay.
We,
Let me type it away.
you'd be amazed at how many people don't do that. They don't even see it.
Oh,
It's just
man. It's reading comprehension. It takes 2 seconds.
you were not educated in the state of Florida. I can
Uh,
see. I
Hey,
got you.
hey, man, come on, bro. Come on,
you
bro.
Yes.
know, but you
No
know what's
Florida slander
crazy?
today, bro.
No, I'm all for the Florida slander, no offense. But it's crazy because Florida is like in the top 10 for education, and I had
When?
no clue.
When?
Yeah, Google it real quick.
Because they
Yeah.
used to be 43. What?
Bro, chill out.
They
Bro, you got
did.
listen.
When
We care about
you
education,
said
but
chill out.
we care more importantly about the palm trees in the streets. But don't get me wrong, we read down here too.
True.
Enough of that bad talk about us, man. Let's talk about you, Miss Fernandez. So please tell us. Well, before you say anything, I want to let everybody know before this interview starts. She's dope because he has a July
Yeah.
birthday. Is that correct?
Yes, July 22nd. All good.
Yes. Yes.
And we both got July birthdays, so now
Yes.
we are family. Okay.
Yes. Wait a minute. That
Woo.
depends. How do you treat family, Erica?
Well, it depends. Like sometimes like I don't believe in family over everything or blood is thicker than water. So I'm very much like, arm and legs distance because usually it's family that are the first people to try to screw you over, unfortunately. I know I sound like I'm mad negative, but you got to be realistic with that. Unfortunately, it is what it is.
Listen, you are going to be so surprised. You just walked me right into my first question, which it sounds
Yeah.
like you answered. I was going to be so, before we get started, are you a stereotypical New Yorker? And it
Yes.
sounds like, there you go. See?
Well,
Definitely, I'm very much arrogant about New York. New York all day, every day. So proudly too. It's a problem, but at least I admit to it.
it doesn't matter whether you admit to it. The fact that you that you are. I mean, I can understand. I'm from Baltimore, so right outside of Baltimore, so New
Okay.
York and Maryland really only get along when we're picking on other states. So fortunately, we have a
Yes,
common
that's
opponent.
true.
Yes.
Beautiful Florida.
Y'all see I got on the phone now, but y'all get a little up in age. Well, you already here, bro. Miss Fernandez might buy some property down here one day, and then she'll become one of us. You
No,
never
she
know.
won't. Because New Yorkers don't have to become
No, I don't.
Floridians.
I don't think so.
See? See?
Yeah,
Let me tell you.
I don't.
You
I don't
will.
think I could ever. Yeah, I think the closest I'd leave to New York is just Jersey, and
That,
that's over the bridge to the
that's
right
like New
somewhere.
York light. Yeah. That's like just,
Yeah.
just that's where the mafia lives. They work in New York and they live in New Jersey. I mean, my dad's from New Jersey. I get it.
Yeah, for real.
Now,
Mhm.
what you would miss if you came down here, one, you already know the pizza. Um, Two,
Yes. Mhm.
more than one place to get good cheesecake. There are not too many places down here where you can get really good, thick, rich, artery clogging cheesecake.
Juniors. I agree.
But not the one at the
It's definitely
station.
hard. Like I have a couple friends. No, definitely not. Like I have a couple friends who live out in Cali and they're New Yorkers as well, and they moved out there because they're in the forest. And she's like, "Yo, there's no good pizza out here." I said, "Well, I'm not surprised because we have the duh." Or depending, certain parts of Jersey, certain parts of Connecticut, I've been told too.
Hmm.
So I have to be open minded. But New York pizza is really good, in my opinion.
It's awesome. I miss being up there and being able to go out at 3 o'clock in the morning for just a big sloppy slice of greasy cheese pizza.
Yes. And you don't realize when you move out of the state, that's such a luxury that you don't have elsewhere.
And good bagels. Yeah. I mean, okay. I'm enough
Yeah.
about food because I'm gonna get
I had a
hungry
bagel this
again.
morning.
Stop it. Did you have a smear of cream cheese?
No, no, no. I had a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Well, see, that's okay.
Wow, that's
Typical.
clutch.
Not surprising, right?
That is clutch. So we just really want to know.
It is.
You are an
Yes.
avid sports fan. I've been following you on IG for a while. Um, I know you and your pops got a
Yeah,
great relationship. What is it that really just got you into sports?
for sure. So it's definitely my pops was a good influence on me in that, as well as my older brother. My older brother, he not to age him a bit, but he just turned 40. So he's the reason why I'm a fan of all these teams. And it's, he passed down being a Mets fan to me because he would babysit me and my younger brother. So we had no choice. So whatever he was watching, we kind of just watched. So that's how I got into sports.
Are you from Queens?
Technically, no. I was born in Brooklyn, but we left Brooklyn so young that I don't really identify with the borough.
Okay.
But I was raised between the Bronx and Queens.
That explains the Mets fan or a Yankees fan because I thought in the Bronx it was mandatory that you become a Yankees fan.
Yeah, but he came in the 80s and there was more. Well, he came to America with my mom in the 80s and there were much more Mets fans, apparently, he told me, because that's when there was like the dark ages for the Yankees.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the Mets at the time were the only ones with more of minority players. So
Yep.
a lot of people started like, oh, there's more black players, there's more Latino players. Of course, I'm going to want to go for the Mets.
The
So that's
Mets,
something I learned about real young.
they were awesome back then with Keith Hernandez and Daryl Strawberry and Dwight
Yes.
Gooden. And yes. Okay. I
Hmm.
understand now. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And your brother's not old, by the
Hmm.
way. So we
He kept saying that all week, and he just turned 40 a week ago.
This is killing me. This is killing me. So,
Ageism is a real thing. I just want to let y'all
no,
know
it's
that
not.
ageism is
I was gonna
serious.
say, I'm
Okay.
like, you guys are aging like wine. I love it. Beautiful. Y'all are shining.
Now, is it box wine or is it French wine? Which wine are we aging like?
Well, both because apparently people are saying that box wine is where it's at. So,
Oh, well, yeah, those are the people that drink wine on the subway. I get it. I get it.
right? They sure do.
But I ain't gonna lie, I've had some box wine. It's not bad. I don't really
I
talk
mean,
about it
this,
much.
That are questionable.
really, bro. I mean,
But seriously,
you gonna put it all out there, bro?
no, I'm not. So the whole curls end of curls in sports, I I
Yes.
understand you have mastered the curls. What can you do to help
Yes.
me out? Cause I'd love to have some curls.
Well, castor oil honestly really does the magic. It's crazy because I see my husband putting it on his beard too, and apparently, like, it's made his hair a lot more luscious. And thankfully, he's always had a pretty good looking beard. But from what I've seen, a lot of guys, like, they've been using those oils lately,
Hmm.
and it's crazy. I mean, it takes its time, but you know what? It's you got to try to do some natural stuff too because there's only so much that vitamins can do.
When a woman refers to a beard as luscious, you know a man
Luscious,
has done
yeah.
it right.
You
Yes,
done arrived,
you
right?
have.
But
You
that's
have
strange. That's
arrived.
strange money married,
Yes,
bro. I get it.
yes.
And the
Hey,
Hmm.
beard was always a
I
thing.
had
So
no
I
clue
must
that there
ask,
were beard shampoos.
yeah, they got all. Listen, the internet has changed everything. You can find anything you want in the
Yeah.
internet.
yeah,
Hmm.
anything. I found
Right.
him on the internet.
I agree.
Oh, come on, man. Listen, so Erica, I've seen a lot of your interviews that you put out there. Can you let us know what was the best and most honest interview you've done up to date?
Um, Damn. I would say the most honest interview would be while I was working at the Zone. I had an opportunity to talk to Oscar de la Hoya, and it's where he was. And I'm surprised that it was. First of all, I was very happy that I got some time with him because every time that draft day comes, I don't know if you guys feel the same way. People say, "Oh, why do we keep asking these kids about their dead parents?" While I agree with that, it's also vital to their journey. Like they
Yes,
talk
sir.
about, doing it for mom, doing it for dad, rest in peace. So I'm sure you guys know Oscar's story, but
Hmm.
he lost his mom to breast cancer real young when breast cancer wasn't even quote unquote a thing back then. Not too much was known about it. And he was what, 17, 18 or something like that when she died.
Yeah,
So he was very transparent. Like even post interview, I sat with him and I'm like, listen, I know that I asked you some questions. I appreciate your honesty. He's like, no, no, no. He's like, I appreciate you for wanting to talk about it. That's why I'm trying to do this more often. So I was even a little uncomfortable asking him about like his deceased mom.
wow.
So I'm happy that he didn't take it offensive as to me prying into that, but not really prying, but kind of just getting more to the psyche of it because I think that, you know, I'm thankful that I have my parents still on this planet. I have friends that unfortunately never met their moms, unfortunately, or they passed. But to lose your mom at such a tender age of a teenager, and then you're going to the Olympics, and she never really got to see your career. So that stuff like that really defines your career. So it kind of made me kind of understand him a little bit more.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, right. Like that was heavy.
It was. Yeah. I wish I had saved the
Yeah.
curls comment till
Hmm.
after that.
Oh, no, no, no. I think it's great because, listen, people out there are asking, like, how do you come up with questions? What are stuff that's acceptable? What do you ask people? And it's like,
Right.
you know what? Either you show them the questions beforehand so they could okay it and sign off, or you just get a dirty look while you're asking it. So I made sure to ask him before getting on camera. I was like, listen, these are the
Sure.
questions I'm asking you. Is that okay? He said, yeah, let's do it.
Cool. I got a question for you. Who is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
who is your if you haven't had it yet or if you have, who is your
Mm-hmm.
dream interview?
Mm. Um, Damn. That's a Damn, you stumped me. Oh, wait, more importantly, am I allowed to curse here?
You just yeah, you're good. Trey,
Yeah.
you're good. I'm the only one who doesn't. This
Listen,
guy,
when we were on Instagram chatting and you
Okay.
put, yeah, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be great. I already knew what time it was. Feel free.
No, because I kept restricting myself, and I'm like, wait, I don't
no.
know. Let me just be respectful, because I
Aw.
get it. But I'm trying to think who would it be. I know that I fought real hard to. I'm short. I'm 5'4", and I really fought for a good spot to get LeBron post game. So that was really really pivotal because I kept observing how people would line up and like park themselves. So that to me was very pivotal because he got to. I'm again I'm 5'4", so I had to make sure to stand in front by the podium to make sure I can get in a question. Um, but I would say I would love to get Serena Williams. I got the chance to cover the U.S. Open,
Okay.
and unfortunately, it was I think 2000. I think it was duh, it was 2019 last year, but I wasn't able to get her because she was only taking a few questions at the time. But that would have been real dope to get. So I would say yeah, definitely Serena.
Serena. Let me know. I'll run the camera for you.
Of
So,
course, yay!
so Erica, we see you
With the
breaking
assist,
down doors and stereotypes. How did you connect
yes,
with Quick out the blocks? Because I also follow Sheena Quick, and I see you ladies making some hellified moves.
yes,
How did you guys link, and what was that all about?
yeah. Of course. Well, Sheena, I'm sure you guys have seen the shit show from Black Sports Online, which is probably the best way to describe it. Sheena was a writer for him too, and I told her when all of my mess with him had happened in November of 2019, because I'm like, I gotta talk to somebody who worked for him, how I can relate to, because there's only so much you could tell your friends, but if you want to get like honest feedback, I feel like you should tell someone who's in the industry or who at least is aware of these people. So when I spoke to her about it, she then broke everything down that happened to her. And then I'm like, holy hell, I had no clue that we were both kind of sort of on the same boat, but obviously hers was worse because it's more like sexual harassment stuff. So she invited me to work for her website, which I was very, very happy about. And I've been able to do kind of what I want, which is great. Writing about what I want. She gives me total creative freedom, which is so important.
Well, in full disclosure, that is actually one of the stories we did not cover on this show. So feel free to say
You guys
whatever.
can feel free to talk about it.
What, again, we,
You're
we
like,
wait for
okay.
Pandora to open her own box. So once it's open, we
Aw,
kind of jump
true.
in. We give people that
You're like,
courtesy.
thank you for inviting me.
So
Yes.
I know he's got some questions. It's gonna be
No,
interesting.
I was no,
Mm,
I was really prepared to keep it strictly PG. I didn't want to get too involved because you know what you can and can't say and all that. But while I prepare a question, I will ask you this. Um,
yes.
I know this is a cliche question, but I suspect that the answer coming from you and from what I'm gathering from your personality, very authentic. What has been your
Yeah,
experience
definitely.
being not only a woman but a minority woman and dealing in
You know,
male-dominated industry, but more specifically tied
yeah,
to boxing?
yeah. Well, to answer the first part of your question, it's been very tough, and I think the hardest part of that is when you see old white dudes in that press room. And then I remember covering my first Knicks game. I made instant connections with the three black media that I saw in the room. Super sweet, super welcoming, asking questions, not even to pry in or to try to steal my question or nothing, genuinely trying to help. Because they noticed like I was brand new. So I love that. Like I can always say that the black community, especially black reporters, black media in general in sports, has been so welcoming, and that's more than half of everyone I know in the field. Like I just made my first Latino friend 3 years ago. That says a lot.
Yeah.
If you think about it, 3 years in the entire 7 year trajectory that I have. But to answer the second part of your question, my goodness, with boxing, Sometimes I'm literally the only woman in the room. Like, not even gonna lie to you. And I forget her name, Cynthia Conti. Damn it, you guys might not remember her name, but she's sometimes in the room as well. Um, the girl who out the gloves or something like that. She's tall, she's blonde. She has a really big following as well. I forget her name, but
Not
from time
Adriana.
to time I see her. No, she's tall, straight blonde hair. She's beautiful. I'm trying to think like what's her name, but that's another one who I see from time to time. But it's real hard. Like you kind of feel intimidated in a room full of men. Like you're already interviewing male athletes. There's barely any female boxers.
Hmm.
So how do you kind of stand out from the rest? It's like, oh yeah, it's the girl in the room. So it's been hard.
Well, I mean, I definitely commend you on that, and I've noticed that you have a relationship with a former world champion. I didn't want to bring it up, but now the cat's out the bag. You had an interview or two, and you've kind of made a relationship with Chris Algieri. What has that been like, and what is Chris probably giving you more insight in about the boxing game than what you've been able to gather during your interviews?
Oh, for sure. Chris Algieri, oh, he's a sweetheart. He is one of the nicest people you'll meet in boxing and genuinely nice too. Not even fake about it. He's humble. He's from New York, so maybe that's the New York connection at it. So he it's crazy what he's doing outside of boxing because he has a cookbook that's out and he and unfortunately in comparison to I'm sorry, fortunately, but then unfortunately in comparison to most guys, he's probably one of the few who has a college degree. Most of them barely have high school, and some of them probably don't even know how to speak well, which is unfortunate because boxing is an escape from out the hood. So
Hmm.
it's crazy to see that transition with him in comparison to other boxers. But he said, I forget who he told me once, but he said that someone told him, don't just rely on boxing. You need to also go and get a career because you're not going to be in the ring forever. So I think
Facts.
that stuck with him from young. So he's honestly a really great person, and you guys, he's so open to speaking to anybody about his career and everything. He's really nice. I have to definitely say that.
Well, listen, hey, you boys solid throw us a lot. I would love to get him on and talk about his diet and his nutrition platform because I feel that that is something that is sorely missing in all of combat sports. We've covered it
Yes.
actively on this end for about
Hmm.
6 years, but I also have personal relationships with fighters across the spectrum from boxing, MMA, and I will say that man, weight cutting and dieting and
Gotcha.
nutrition it's something that a lot of these kids lack, especially because sometimes it comes at a cost. It's not free most times. But I think there's just some things they can do just shopping the
Yeah.
right way at home that can really make a difference.
Exactly. Yeah, it really could. I agree with you because half the time they're talking about like starving themselves. Like the first big fight that we covered at the zone was Ryan Garcia when he was on the undercard for the Canelo Rocky Fielding fight. And I was in the elevator with Ryan Garcia and his dad. And I was just talking to them like, oh, so how's it going? Do you feel like you're gonna make weight? Just being nice. And he's like, no, I'm gonna go hit the gym because I think I have to lose like 2 more pounds. Where is there a Modell's so I can go get a sweatsuit so I can sweat this out? And I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. I haven't even heard of anyone having a sweatsuit in a minute. So that kind of blew my mind. But you're right, it does, nutrition. I'm sure that he's grown since then. He had a really good fight last weekend. So um, it's crazy what it does to the body.
Yep, yep. So we definitely want to make sure fighters are more aware of that. Now, as I scroll through
Yeah.
Instagram, I know my partner's gonna come back with some other questions, but just some things I want to touch on. I see that I mean, not only you're an angry Mets fan, but you're an avid follower of baseball. So much so that did you go on a stadium
Yeah.
tour? Is that correct?
So I'm trying to do a stadium tour, but the pandemic kind of just shitted all over that. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunate. Um, I got to do, I believe, 8 or 9 stadiums, and I've been waiting to do the other 20. Like I had a whole plan for the summer. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do Memorial Day weekend at the Nationals. Maybe I can squeeze in a Florida trip, go to Miami, then go to Tampa Bay. Nope. none of that happened. So it is what it is.
Well, that's interesting you say that because I thought I was the only person that really had stadium tours on their bucket list. Um, Listen,
Yeah.
I'm mad I didn't get to go to Old Shea Stadium. My parents had been there, but I never got the opportunity to go to Old Shea
Ah,
Stadium.
man.
And I wanted to go to Yankee Stadium
I
in the
have a picture
Bronx.
somewhere of it.
Really?
Ah. Yeah, I'll
That's
find it. I know it's in my mom's house.
that
That
just pulled at the
tour.
heartstrings. She's like,
It's
oh,
literally
Shay,
like
oh.
throwback.
Listen, there are a few on my
I still
list.
call it Shea Stadium. I don't say City Field.
No, 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 no.
Because you're a New Yorker. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right, and an angry New Yorker at that.
Hmm.
Right.
Yes, it's
I
interesting because
am.
I
Yeah.
felt like all Mets fans were angry because of the way they play.
Oh my God, all the time. And I don't know if you guys saw the announcement today that they traded a few guys for Francisco Lindor and Carrasco from Cleveland.
Yeah,
So that's huge news.
yeah, yeah.
But
I mean,
let's wait. I'm trying to be
I mean,
positive.
yeah, it kind of have to be. I mean, y'all ain't, y'all have shown signs of life here recently, so hopefully it'll be more and more to come. I don't know how we keep doing it down here in Tampa,
Yes.
but they keep figuring out a way to keep these young prospects coming in. They get them at the right time, and they're able to determine the
Yes.
serviceable players, and they make these runs. They just don't have the funds to keep them. But I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe the farm system could
Hmm.
use some work.
Yeah. I
Well,
was
it's,
going for Tampa too in the World Series. I hate the Dodgers. I'm good. If it's
of
not the
course you
Brooklyn
do.
Dodgers, I'm not rooting for them.
Of course you hate the Dodgers. They're
Oh,
from
she is going for
Brooklyn.
it. She's like, oh, I hate them. Oh, I hate them
Right.
too. I hate them.
Yes.
Like,
Like, why am I not
this is crazy.
surprised?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't shocked.
Hmm.
It's
I'm
just-
good.
I would assume you
Hmm.
hate the
You're
Giants
like, it's
too.
not a surprise.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh,
But
that
not
that
as
is
bad only
something.
because I really did like Barry, but I love Barry Bonds when he was on the team, so that's why I can't say I hated him.
Okay,
okay.
all right.
That's gonna
So
lead us.
she's
Yeah.
listen. She just ruined the entire interview because one of the questions I wanted to end with was should Barry Bonds be in the Hall of Fame, and she just came out and we know how she feels about that clearly.
No, we don't. She just said she
Oh, of
liked him.
course, let him in. At this point, you know what? Let him in. There was a part of a golden era where people actually tuned in. Like the ratings. Oh, it pains me to see the fact that it's not. Oh, I love baseball only because I grew up with it, but I do understand how people are bored of it. So that's something that I have to understand. Like, let these guys in.
You know what? This interview has been going so good. I got it. You are the first one on this show to be anointed with this title.
I got soul, and I'm super bad.
There it is, and it's in her blood, bro. No
Now that's
mistaking it.
dope.
Yeah.
It is.
Yo, for
So you
real,
went,
it is.
you went to Belize. I've gone to Belize. What was your experience like in Belize?
Yes. It was very beautiful. The people there are amazing. I forget how small the country is, and it always throws me off that they don't speak Spanish. So, I think they have a few dialects there, so that's something I learned about. But I went there for a best friend's wedding, and it was really beautiful and dope. But it kind of pains me because one of the cab drivers there, he was talking about like the trajectory, how poverty levels has been affecting the country, the hurricanes hitting them. Like there's no real defense as there once was before. It's really sad, especially with Central America. They're always getting hit by hurricanes. Like at this
Yeah.
point, Honduras is going to disappear somehow. They're going to go underwater. But I hope that it doesn't happen in the near future. But with climate change and all that, ugh, the Caribbean at this point could also disappear too.
Yeah, yeah, it's really shameful. I mean, and it's like you said, climate change. Everybody deals with.
Yeah.
It, no one's immune. With that being said, how have you been taking the whole
Hmm.
pandemic thing, being where it initially supposedly hitting ground zero there in New York?
It was real crazy. I was not up the block. I'm sorry. I live across the street from a hospital, but
Okay.
the bad hospital that you guys must have seen in the news, which is Amherst Hospital, that's the one that was real hard. That's like a 10-minute drive from me. It's not too far. and like 2, 3 stops away on the train. So that's how close it is. But it was real crazy to see the trucks with the morgues because there was no space in the morgues of the hospital. So those trucks were out there for months, and I only saw it because we went out. We're like, let's go out, let's go for a walk. Like we've been indoors for just about a week now, and I wasn't prepared to see the truck. So I go down the block and I look to the right, and I'm like, oh my God, what the wow. It's an image I'll never forget.
Dang. Well, I mean, yeah,
And
and
just to
that
give
was
you guys a
kind of
sense of direction, I'm near the US Open in City Field area. So I'm not too far from there. Like I
legit.
could walk there if I want to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All
So
right, but yeah,
Mhm.
that's unfortunate. But yeah, it's funny because when me and him talk a lot, we talk about how different the climate is everywhere you go. I know for us here in Florida, it's been kind of up
Yeah.
and
I
down.
told
You
you
know
I'm
what I mean?
doing an interview.
But then I just recently went to Texas, and I don't think anybody wore masks. And then just
Mm.
going to Georgia and moving around in Atlanta. So just not doing a whole lot of traveling, but just kind of moving in here and there. And yeah, everybody kind of reacts to it a little bit differently. And I
Yeah.
guess I think unfortunately, it's tied to politics.
Yeah. It really is. It's so sad to see how it was, but the pandemic kind of just froze everything. It froze opportunities. It froze shit. It froze my wedding. We postponed it so God knows when, but we thankfully got married civil. I'm sorry, in City Hall. But like everything is just I think that's something that we all learned is you can't control stuff that's out of your control. So you just got to sit back and just ride the storm,
Right. Now,
unfortunately.
how is it? And hopefully, I didn't miss this. I had an emergency come up. Um, how does your
It's okay.
husband receive your career? How is he instrumental in your career? How does it affect him and you?
Mhm. He's a big basketball fan and he supports everything else, but I think that he's only watching it because I'm watching it. So it's like conversations over the TV. Because thankfully we don't have a TV in the bedroom. I don't know if I want a TV in the bedroom, but I get why people have a TV in the bedroom. But it's like, all right, I want to watch the Mets game, and it's like, no, but can we watch this instead? For the summertime, it was actually hard because both NBA and MLB were on at the same time, and that's something that only really happens end of September and through October. So he was asking me he was like, oh, okay, fine, let's just compromise. But with basketball, he's on, and he's a big basketball fan. But he's very supportive. He's helped out a lot. Um, he's gotten me a lot of equipment. It's a lot of emotional support. Um, and thankfully, like he's not intimidated by me being around a lot of guys, if that makes any sense, because there are those people that wouldn't be able to deal with that. And while it's respect respected, I don't know if I understand it because it's like I'm not trying to date these people. I'm there for work, but
Right.
they're just some people that are just that insecure and you can't control them. But thankfully, I got a good seed.
Good. Awesome. It's very important. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the Badger has like three
Yeah.
wives, and they're all supportive. So I could kind of understand.
Hey.
Oh, you gotta chill. What's gotten into you today, bro?
Huh?
You all right?
You know what?
Feels like
I'm
you coming from over there. You
no.
cool?
I am
Jeez.
so glad she's on here because now I can get her perspective for this. All right, we
Don't feed
are
into this.
we
Don't
are
feed into
Go
this.
ahead.
we are auctioning off the Badger to raise money for the show. So you
I
being a
can't.
woman, a vibrant woman, a New Yorker, so you know what you want, you know
Yes.
what quality is, and you know what quality costs. So, where do you think we
Yes.
should start the bid for this Joker? I mean, this fine young man.
You don't. Honestly, Erica, you don't have to feed into this. This is his thing. Every time he brings somebody on, this is what he does. I don't understand it. So, please, if we can get back to the
So
real
he's
interview
pimping you
here,
out every
He
time.
understands it, Erica.
you know
He
what I'm talking about?
understands it. Hey, it is what it is. We need finances. We're trying to raise money. He's sitting on a moneymaker, so we're gonna auction him off.
Bro, you know what?
Well, I think that it's flattering. More
See,
importantly, I think you should think about that. He's flattering you because he's not even
see,
putting you himself up for sale. It's you. So
you,
he knows that you're the money maker.
you.
I am
He's
so
like, I'm not
confused about
feeding
what's
into this.
happening now. It sounds like you getting on his side. Is that what I'm feeling right now?
Preach,
This is
bro.
terrible.
That's such a clever idea. I never thought about that way to
This is
sell.
See,
terrible.
I mean, this sounds like something OnlyFans ish.
Ah, now
Watch me!
that's not okay. Now that could be a thing. That could be a thing. I might do the OnlyFans, bro. That might be a thing.
what is the difference?
I don't have to physically see or be next to anybody. That's why.
You're getting more money?
Oh,
There you go.
True.
all right.
Aside from the
So,
money part, I didn't even think about the physical part.
Watch me!
oh man.
Yes,
oh, man.
yes.
So yeah. So
Clearly,
back
it's like
to
2020 has scarred me.
That's
yeah.
okay. It
Yeah.
scarred you in a good way.
We're not feeding into this. So listen,
Hmm.
I have another question for you. So what was it like
Yeah.
being raised Dominicana and Colombiana? Or is it very similar? Down here in Florida, we just trying to figure it out. Up there in New York, it's been a thing. So kind of just walk me through that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's actually Ecuadorian, but they
Oh,
share three countries there share the same flag. So
that's
it's
that
easily
Florida education.
confusable. So trust me, it's fine.
Yeah, that's the Florida
That Florida
education.
education.
It is. It is. It
At
is.
least you can joke about it. No, but don't worry. It all used to be called in like in like the mid 1800s. It used to be called Colombia, but then they separated and all that other good jazz. But besides that, um, it's kind of it's a little bit on the hard side, and then I'm happy for like because I feel like I have the best of quote unquote both worlds. And the reason why I say that is because I have Caribbean and then South American in me. So, but sometimes for my Ecuadorian side, unfortunately, they're definitely a little bit more on the racist side down there. When my mom married my dad's a Dominican one. The first thought that my dad was very much vocal about this, and I'm happy that he doesn't have a hair in his tongue. Is probably where I get it from. Um, as soon as they found out that my mom married my dad, they're like, "Oh, is he Haitian?" So it's like, first of all, what if he was Haitian? You're mad indigenous as well. What's the difference? So that's something that majority I've noticed in that country. I mean, we're with newer generations, it's becoming more accepted, which is better. But they're always going through some sort of identity crisis where they want to be identified as only Spaniard and white skin. And despite my features, my hair is African. It's not South American. Like my dad, like there's black in us somewhere. I can't wait to do an ancestry DNA. Just I'm curious about it because my half sister she did hers and she got 28% Senegal. So I'm wondering, is that for
Really?
my dad? Or is that for her mom? Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
she's just as light as me.
Well, it's
That blew my
funny.
mind.
It's funny because Ben Carson did the 23andMe DNA test, and Ben Carson came back. I think it was 0.5% black,
Oh
You an idiot,
wow.
bro. You gotta relax,
but he
bro.
was
Don't feed that.
99. He was 99% Trump. So that's how his test came back.
Don't feed into that. But no, Erica, but
Oh
that is a
man,
dope. That is a very dope and interesting point
good
here
times.
because um, here in Florida, we also have a little bit of that dynamic going on too. And oftentimes, like in this pivotal election we just had, it was almost a foregone conclusion that
Mhm.
Cubans tend to skew or identify
Oh
more
my
white.
gosh.
We're
Yes.
going to vote Republican, whereas the other
Yes.
Latinos in Florida were tended to skew and go a little bit more Democratic, and they tend to, I guess, probably
Yes.
self-identify as not um, Afro Latino or Afro Latina, just not white.
Yeah. Mhm. It's unfortunate. They want to be white so bad, and mind you, like our white allies or counterparts, whatever you want to label as them, they'll never identify you as white. As soon as I mean, obviously, I know what I look like, light skin. I don't say I'm white because, like, to me, that was always weird growing up, considering like my household. My younger brother is just as dark as you guys, so that's why I'm like, why is Jose darker than me? Oh, okay, I guess it's just a mix.
Well,
So ever
one
since
thing you'll
growing up,
need
I'm
to
like, I wonder
know
why we look so different, but we're just different skin tones.
before you sell your house up there and move to Florida, when you come to Florida, you will no longer be known as light
Mm-hmm.
skin. You will be light skinned.
bro.
That light skinned did.
Gotta chill, dude. You
It's
gotta
the truth.
relax.
That's my wife. My wife is. They either call her red
Uh huh.
bone, highlighter, or light skinned. That's just that's Florida.
I can't.
I will say this, Erica. I have never heard of highlighted, so we're gonna excuse that one. I don't know how true that one is,
Yeah,
but
same.
yeah, it's maybe there's a little bit of
That's
truth to
something
that.
new,
Maybe half truth.
High yellow,
right?
highlighted. It's the same thing. That's what they call her. Listen,
So I noticed
Oh my gosh,
that your
Rich.
New York Knicks are doing better. You're off to a pretty good start. The future's looking bright. What do you see happening with the Knicks moving forward?
Well, for starters, I don't know if you guys know, I'm not a Knicks fan, thankfully. Thank the Lord I was spared with that.
Ah,
Even more double claps.
yes, yes,
it's like double clap. So that make
yes.
you a Brooklyn fan?
Thank you, thank God. No, I'm actually a Spurs fan. So I'm very, very grateful for that.
Whoa, whoa.
Look at that. Look at
I
that.
just,
Ain't
you
that
know, that I guess
something?
I must be doing a good job because I don't mean to bring up Black Sports Online again, but I remember him at first. He's like, try not to be too much of a big fan on social media because you're want to be professional, blah blah blah. I guess I must have hid my Spurs fan ways real good, except the Mets. I can't help it. But yeah, I've been a Spurs fan. Oh my god, for years. Again, my older brother, not my fault. But actually, if anything, I thank him because easily could have been a miserable Knicks fan as well.
The Badger is a well. He dropped him the last 2 years because he said they broke his heart when they traded his boyfriend Kawhi. But he has been a Spurs fan from like Dennis Rodman on, I guess you'd say.
Oh man, my brother
Yeah,
was following Dennis Rodman in college, and that's the only reason. Dennis Rodman, Tim Duncan in college. Sorry, you said Dennis
no.
Rodman.
No,
He
I
was
did.
following Tim Duncan in college, so that's why.
Wow. I'm. You know what though? I got to give
Yeah,
you a clap
so
on
that's why
that
he's
one
a
too.
fan.
'Cause I like Greg Popovich and I like Tim Duncan.
Hey, Erica, it's funny that
Yeah,
we're both Spurs
he's
fans. I,
amazing.
we talked about this at the end of the show last week, or actually on Wednesday, I'm sorry. And I was talking about how I excited them for the Spurs future because I feel like the future is bright going from Greg Popovich
I think
to
so too,
Becky Hammond.
Rodney.
How do you really feel about that?
I didn't hear the last part of that. Do you mind repeating that one more time?
Yeah, I said I feel bright. I feel optimistic about the Spurs' future as they transition because Pop is going to eventually go, and it looks like we're going to be left in the hands of Becky Hammond. I'm happy about that. How do you feel about it?
Yes. Oh, I think it's beyond dope, and the fact that he's so supportive for women in sports. I think that she landed in the best organization that she could have, and she has such a good vision on the court. And he got ejected the other day, and it might have just been meant to be, just to see how she would have been able to handle that for herself, not even just for fans, but how does she feel in the driver's seat? We're so focused on women's history and groundbreaking, but does she also want this? So I think she handled it beautifully.
She did, and the fact that you can lead any group of people who respect you, and those guys on that team respect her.
Yeah, I love that.
They respect her. Like,
Yeah, like they're paying intently. Like there's photos from like Patty Mills paying attention, not just dismissing her. No, it's and photos don't lie. You can't make that emotion up.
right. Listen, I learned a long
Mm-hmm.
time ago that respect carries a lot of weight, and it's good to see
No,
that
man, absolutely.
they really follow her. Um, my wife told me that the day we got
Mm-hmm.
married, right after I said I do, she said, "I don't care if you
Aw.
love me, but you gonna respect me." And she fired up a Newport right there in the pulpit.
Oh, okay. She not playing no games.
When she told me, "Listen, I think this should be a reason for me to be able to get out of this," because she said after I say I do, she looked at me. She said, "You're gonna get out of this marriage the same way you came into it, through the church, and the church doesn't give divorces; they give funerals."
Oh, damn.
Yep.
So
And there
For
it is.
real.
the
Mic
pastor
drop.
backed up. He was like, "Wait a minute, I just, I said, can we know this? He's like, I ain't saying nothing. So men don't stick together. Women stick together.
So, Erica,
Mm.
we don't want to hold you up too long, but I must ask this because I know we're going to probably get a great answer. What has been your take
Ooh,
on what's
okay.
been going on in DC over the last 24 hours?
Um, I I was talking to a friend of mine, and I don't know if you'll agree to this because you're in Florida. She's visiting her sister down in Florida, and I'm like, how are the people reacting about that there? She's like, this is kind of Trump country, so people don't really care. I said, damn.
She's
She's like,
right.
if it doesn't really affect them directly, then they don't really care. She's like, but I haven't seen any uproar down here as much as you would have seen in the Northeast. She's from Queens too, but she's just down there visiting her sister. And I said, wow. And then she said, you really feel the culture shock once you leave like the tri-state area. And she's like, and even parts of like DC. But it is absolutely disgusting that people are still questioning if white privilege exists. We're calling them protesters. They're not protesters, they're rioters, they're thugs, they're everything else that they label us. No. So I've been seeing theories, and I don't know if you guys have seen them, that this could have been an inside job. And I don't mean to be a conspiracy theorist, but
I have
how is it
family.
possible that they got through all the security?
Right.
You know?
I have family that live up there, work up there, and some that actually work in the Capitol. Um, no one
Oh wow.
breaches. Yeah, I mean the fact that they pull back the gates and let them in, talking about, well, it was a theory where we try to appease that. No, that has never happened before. When you look at the black protests that went to the Capitol,
Yeah,
they met them on the steps with armed guards and
exactly.
riot gear. So no, that's I agree with you on this one.
Exactly. They were ready to shoot people's eyes out. Where were the rubber
Exactly.
bullets at yesterday? Where
Ex-
was everything else? And I love the fact that people say, well, y'all know the NYPD would have definitely hit people. Duh. We would have seen bloodshed on those steps,
Pretty much.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
If they're disturbed, if the cops in New York disturb the homeless that are one minding their own business and are the homeless, you think they're not gonna do anything over over protesters?
Thank you.
I'm sure you guys saw the footage over the summertime that happened by the Barclays Center.
Yes.
So that still to me was wild. But I don't know if we're ever gonna get to the bottom of this, which is unfortunate. I don't know if you guys feel the same. Like, we want answers, but are we gonna get them?
I think we already know the answers. Um, well,
Mm-hmm.
I know I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Yeah, it's hard, right?
W.E.B. Du Bois
Do it.
said this decades ago. A system can never fail those it was never designed to protect.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
there's your
Yeah.
answer.
It was a bill for us.
Listen, I got a
Yeah.
story for you.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't told a story on here for a while, so I got a story for you. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
there was this blind man, and before I get all the hate mail, I'm legally blind, so I don't want any of this hate mail when I tell this story. So there was a blind man who went into a restaurant, and the maitre d, or the waiter, sorry, came up to him and said, "Sir, how can I help you?" He said, "Bring me a dirty fork from the back." So he went back there and he got a dirty fork and he brought it to him, and the blind man sniffed it. He said, "Hey, I want the same
Mm-hmm.
bacon and cheese omelet that this person ate, and the potatoes and the toast." So he said, "Wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's amazing." So he said, "Okay." So he goes back and he tells his wife, who's the chef, "Hey, make a bacon and cheese omelet with
Mm-hmm.
the potatoes and the toast." So a couple days later, the same blind man comes in, and the waiter says,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, sir, good to see you back." He says, "Bring me another fork." He says, "No problem." He goes back and gets a dirty fork and brings it to him. He says, "Give me that meatloaf that must be the special for the day, because it smells like this must have been real tasty. And I'll take the potato salad they had on the side as well." Guy's like, "Oh, I'm impressed." So he goes back and he tells his wife, he says,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, the blind man's here again. He wants the meatloaf with the potato salad on the side." She says, "No problem." So a couple days later, the same blind man comes in and he says, "Bring me." He said, "I got you. I'm gonna bring you a dirty fork." So he goes in the back and
Mhm.
the waiter has a clean fork and he hands it to his wife and he says, "Put this fork in your panties. I want to see if this guy really knows what he's talking about." So she says, "No problem." So she puts the fork in her panties and he takes the
Mhm.
fork out and he hands it to him and the guy smells the fork and he's like, "Is is Angela back there?"
Oh my god.
You're such a, you're so crass, bro. Like I don't even understand why we do this because you, you got to do better, bro. You got to behave, bro. You got to do better. Like for real, for real.
I'll do better. Listen, we're not gonna keep you long, Miss Erica,
I'll do
but
better.
I, we
But
have a
wait, you're
game that.
legally blind?
Yes, I am,
That's why your name was misspelled on the banner at the beginning.
and that's my 5-year-old who just came in. Stop it.
Aww.
She she looks Dominican.
He don't get listen. He don't get no pass for being blind. Don't let him fool you.
Stop.
He see it
Stop.
enough.
I
Don't
what?
let him fool you.
No, I got papers to show I am. I don't know what he's talking about. Would you stop, please?
You're like,
Okay.
I'm not lying, guys.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Listen, when okay, the first time I ever got
Wow.
contacts, went to the doctor. Was one of the
Mhm.
doctors who was affiliated with the Division of Blind Services down here. Stop.
Mhm.
Didn't I ask you to stop?
Parenting 101 live on
Okay.
that. This is great.
So I go to the doctor's office and they fit me for these contacts, and my eyes are so sensitive.
Mhm.
It takes like an hour for me to get them in. Finally, get them in, and I'm seeing all these colors, and everything just looks bright, just brilliant. Like the trees are greener than I'd ever
Wow.
seen before. It was just like
Aw.
incredible. So he brings it back in his office, and
I can only imagine.
"How do you feel?" And I just started crying. And he was like, "Is it that
Aw.
overwhelming?" I said, "It is. But I didn't have these contacts when I met my wife, so I really don't know what she looks like." So when they sent me home in a cab, I asked the cab driver if he would stick around for like 2 minutes while I go inside. I said, "Now, if I don't come back out in
Mhm.
2 minutes, you can leave. But if I come back out, open the door because I'm gonna be carrying some stuff." So
We
I
out.
I went in the house, and when she came walking out of the kitchen, oh Erica, I was just so happy. I was like, "Oh, she's actually beautiful." That was really
Aw.
just a bump in the
But she
middle
still
of her
looks
forehead.
beautiful.
Yes. I didn't know if I had married a cyclops or what. I
Of
couldn't
course.
tell. So I was happy that I didn't. I was
Oh
happy.
my gosh. Wow, that's crazy.
So we have
Yo,
this
vision
game that we
issues are
like.
real.
Huh? Pardon?
Vision issues are real.
They are. People don't understand this. They thank you. You feel my pain.
Mhm.
Listen, we okay, you want to be on camera? Okay, fine. There. We have this game that we call 5 rounds, 1 punch. Would you play it with us?
Of course.
Okay. So
Always.
whatever I ask you, the first thing, and I know I'm treading on dangerous territory because you're a New Yorker. The first thing that comes to your mind, blurt
No,
it
it's
out.
fine. Okay.
Stop.
Indeed, you are, baby. You are on
Stop.
camera.
I'm serious. Go.
Listen, you're still doing it with kids. You're still managing to stay on schedule. My power to you all day.
She was supposed to be at her grandparents' house, but they brought her directly home when she got out of school.
Mhm.
So it is what it is. He's
Of
having a
course.
good time, and I'm having an aneurysm. I'm just trying to keep it inside. But I love her.
Right?
I love her to life. That is my heart
Mhm.
right there. Um,
Aw.
okay, so enough of the
Aw.
mushy stuff.
Yes.
Round one:
Okay.
pizza or chimichurros.
Um. Definitely pizza.
Okay. All right. All right. A one-party system or a current two or three-party system.
Three party system.
Okay.
Shit, at this point, seven.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Okay. The Statue of Liberty or the Liberty Bell.
Statue of Liberty. Sincerely, fuck Philly. But
Would you rather your children remember you for what you've told them or for what you've shown them?
mm, I think actions speak louder than words, so show them.
Okay. Abstinence or condoms?
Oh shit.
Condoms. Safety first. Safety first.
Wow.
This is terrible. This is terrible. I'm so sorry. I mean, you know what? I'm not
This is
sorry.
terrible.
You're okay. You good. You're a New Yorker. This is fine. This is mild. This is
No,
okay.
she's a cool New
You got
Yorker.
thick skin.
Huh?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
He said you got thick skin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought she said that's what happens when you have six kids. I'm like,
Hmm.
wait a minute, I got some more questions.
Oh no,
No, no,
no,
no.
no.
No, no, no. Thick skin. Oh my god, I can't even imagine having six. Jesus. That's mad kids. You can't even claim
That's a
them
lot.
all.
Nah,
Really?
that's a starting five and a six man.
Yeah. No, that's a farm. That's what you need at that
Yeah,
point.
you're
That's a
only
farm.
allowed to claim three.
That's it?
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. Well, see,
Three.
we
Yep.
only have one, so I
Yep.
oof, guess I better stop. Okay.
You have two more opportunities if you want to.
That was gonna be my retirement plan. Just wait till I got old and have a bunch of kids. But if you can only claim three, is that three from the same woman or three altogether?
Yeah.
Three all together.
Okay. Not that I was asking for
Blows
myself,
my mind. Hmm.
because like the Badger, he's
Mm,
he's put in his
mm,
work. So I'm just
mm. So listen, Erica, we
He's
definitely
putting his
appreciate
work.
having you on there. Thank you so much. Let everybody out there in Fighter Shirt Nation know we can follow you and keep up with you.
Of course. Yes, you guys can follow me everywhere on, well, mainly I'm usually on Twitter and Instagram. Um, Curls and Sports, spelled normal, nothing crazy. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about what the hell it's like to work in sports, feel free to slide into the DMs respectfully.
definitely. We like to consider you a family member of this show from now on. Thank you very much for coming through,
Aw,
and we'd
thanks,
love to have you
guys.
back.
Of course, definitely would love to be back. Like, I love the energy, I love the jokes, and you need to have that. You can't be too uptight
That's what I
in
try
this
to tell him. I try to
podcasting
tell
game.
him this. I told him I was useful. He keeps telling me I'm not. I'm useful. And I'm loving the picture that you
Aw,
gave us. This is like perfect. You
Yeah, that's
look
the
better
best
than
place
most of the
ever.
guests that we've had on here.
Yeah.
aw, sounds like a plan.
Hey, she wouldn't.
The
She
back
wouldn't
of the
fall for
keyboard,
that
what
one.
was it earlier? My
Yeah,
room
the
is just
key,
a mess.
the Apple keyboard. It was dope though. I ain't mad
Yeah,
at you.
we
But
yeah,
listen,
the
Yeah,
apple, yeah.
it's just that my background. Yeah, my
we'll
background right now is a hot mess. So I'm like, nope, I had no clue. But next time, I
nah
promise,
nah.
I'll be ready with the
Yeah.
camera.
And listen, we're gonna have you back soon and later. We appreciate you for rocking with us, and we will be in contact. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
God bless you.
of course. Thanks, guys. Stay safe.
You
Bye.
too.
Bless too. Bye.
Wow.
Oh,
Sorry about that, fans.
yo, that was pretty dope, bro.
Yes.
Look, we gonna get it back on her because she is interesting and she gonna tell like it is, bro. So whenever you uptight about your words and don't know what you got to say, we can bring Erica on to fill in for you sometime, right?
She can fill in for me Sunday. If you can get in touch with her, I ain't got no problem with that. I'm good. she,
You
she,
want to sit down and eat a bunch of crabs and watch the game? It ain't happening, bro. We got work to do.
the game will
Work
be
to
we'll be
do.
off well before the game starts.
Well, you only well, well, want you taking no extra time trying to pregame. You got work to do, brother.
So it may be you just may see my seat on Sunday, hear me yelling from the other room. But we'll do what we gotta do to get this through. But
For
yes,
sure.
thank you so much, Erika Fernandez, at Curls and Sports. Man, she's pretty phenomenal, man. She was pretty dope to come on here and do that and give us a really good interview.
Yeah, man.
So
I rocks with Erica, man. I feel like she should have a nickname like E Boogie or something. We got to give her a name. But yeah,
no,
she's family
no,
to the show, bro. She's a
she's a
friend.
New
She,
Yorker. You don't just give
yeah,
them
she ain't gonna
names.
like that.
You
Yeah,
gotta
she ain't gonna
ask
like
her.
that.
Yeah, cause she'll come on here and she won't be as friendly next time.
Yeah, yeah, she'll tie me up. She'll have some choice words for me. So yeah,
She might bring
maybe not
Amanda
that.
Nunez with her. Yeah.
Bro, what? First of all, let's be clear. Let's be clear. I'm not afraid of her. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, respectfully, for the better interest of my immediate future, I don't need to
Uh-huh.
just get in there with her, bro. There's
Uh-huh.
so many. Look, I already told you, get in contact with Mike and put him in the game with work.
Mike,
Anything
I
other than that, bro, I
did.
ain't trying to hear.
I actually got in
Well,
touch with Mike's people, and they
okay,
said, "Well, what's he want me for if he won't fight Amanda?" So,
well, then I guess we don't get a fight. That's fine.
wow, Jiminy Grammy. All right, then. Yo, Fighter Share Nation, thank you for joining us today. Oh, this man is killing me. Um, shout out to the families that lost loved ones in that ruckus, that fracas, that insurrection in DC. No matter what your viewpoint is, no matter how you feel, whether you support Trump or you don't, when you lose a loved one, you lose a loved one. So, shout out to them. Our prayers go out to them. Um, I'm not gonna be like other people who say, well, when black folks lose their lives during a march and they say, well, they shouldn't have been there. Listen, we don't know how the person felt in her heart that was killed, or the people that felt that were killed, but we do know that it didn't have to happen. So, all right, bro.
Indeed, man. Listen, I'm gonna give a shout out to his mom, his wife, his pops, his baby girl, his family, and everybody in Fighter Show Nation. Miss Darlene, Carrie, and anybody else we missed on his end, on my end. Shouts out to Fighter Show Nation, man. We will see y'all back here
Come here.
on another day, probably
Oh,
Tuesday.
now you don't
Well,
want to
we'll
be
be a
on
lot
here.
less refined. No, she don't want to be on camera. And by the way, spread a little love that you people you care about, tapping with your loved ones. We out of here. We'll
Say
see
bye.
y'all on Tuesday. Peace.
See, you got on there anyway. Say bye, Uncle Badger.